So basically, this is inspired or got me thinking, like, you know that housing thing? There's like, I think Daniela and her mum, they've gone to the council, yeah, and they're like, boy, I need a house. I need a place to go. But okay, the real is, yeah, that, okay, you need to pay your rent and obviously you won't be evicted. That is the beat, and that's the foundation of it, because my girl was working and my girl, as in the mother, is working. She said she was cleaner or is a cleaner and she's running her own company. And for some reason I got the idea or understanding that potentially that company was quite successful for her to be able to privately pay for where her and her daughter and family would basically live in. So my thing is, yeah, alright, she fucked up on that end, yeah. But when you kind of like think about certain things, being real is like kind of hard. Because sometimes we say things and like we're all guilty, if you get what I mean. Like unintentionally or intentionally. I don't like, even though she said what she said, yeah, you know what I'm saying, or do you know what I'm saying? Basically, alright, I've already said my girl should have paid her rent. That's common sense. You pay your rent, and if that was the only issue, then cool. Then there's no issues there. You paid your rent, you would have been fine. Alright? But in the whole scheme of this housing thing, like, it's got layers to it. And the funny thing is, so I'm reading the comments, yeah? Like, no, okay. Sometimes when you see a situation happen, and then you're like, alright, my opinion might not be it's not politically correct, yeah? So, okay, my girl said something on TV, yeah, which it sounded bad, but she was being real about what she thought, innit? Like, but when I deep it as well, I'm in a housing situation too, but, like, can we be honest? Like, a lot of people in the comment section, they were like, but didn't she come from Portugal though? Didn't she come to Portugal? So that was more of a... So what I'm trying to say is, self-reflection is, I'm sure that... I'm like saying what I'm... You know what I'm trying to say. Basically, I'm sure other immigrants also think the same thing. Or am I wrong? Like, if we're honest with ourselves, like, I feel like, okay, I think... I don't want to... how can I put it? Because I'm obviously not trying to offend anyone. But the way the housing situation is looking, people who don't even have a bad mind way of thinking are starting to think certain things. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's not intentional, because I don't think people are out here... Like, I think, like, with me personally, like, the way the world is, yeah, Britain's hand has fucked up too many people's countries. So Britain cannot be like, yo, close the borders, fuck everyone. No, you fucked up other people's countries. Okay, so boom, now we're at a place where, fine, England or United Kingdom is what it is. It's a place that people want to feel safe and, you know, create a home, because I'm sure it, like, to other countries where the system doesn't run smoothly, like the United Kingdom, of course this looks like a safe haven. And I always feel guilty. Like, I feel guilty for sometimes thinking, like, boy, let me just can I get on the housing list, please? And then, like, if you do deep it as well, because sometimes I also feel guilty about this. I'm like, okay, true, I'm a child of an immigrant. Yes, I have put into this country. My family have put into this country. They've toiled in this country. My dad from the 50s and my mum since the 80s. So my family is hardworking stock. We didn't come here to be leeches or nothing. So yeah, so back to on topic. So, you know, this video of Daniela and her mum, it is triggering. And when I say triggering, not that I'm sitting here cutting myself because I'm sad. No, what I mean is you start thinking about yourself, self-reflection, like. So I feel like I put so much faith and trust in the British system that from childhood I was planning my escape. That's how, okay, my childhood was bittersweet. Do you get me? Very traumatic in certain aspects, and I always looked forward to turning 16. I remember that because that's how small I was as a child. Because when I did reach 16, I was like, you realise 16 is too young to move out. Like, I was like, all right, when I'm 18. But ultimately, as a child, that was my dream. I could not wait. I had so much faith. I was like, I'm going to get housing. I'm going to get help. This is without knowing all the intricacies of housing issue or whatever. But my age group, I think I was one of the last people who would have got housing if I had the correct guidance. And I will tell my story time eventually. But I feel like when I saw that clip, there's certain things, like I said, there's layered, innit? So, yeah, she was wrong for saying that because it wasn't PC. But have you never said or thought something similar on certain topics? I'm just saying, do you get me? But my thing is the context behind why you're saying what you're saying. Because when I say what I'm saying, don't get confused. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't get confused. What I'm saying is, please, can I get something, please, first? Britain, don't we have like a queuing system? Isn't there supposed to be like, you get me? So, and that comes from seeing certain things and you're like, hold on, like, where did you come from and you've already got 5-bedroom house? Like, my story is I've been going to housing. My housing is in Brent Council. So from the days when it was Mahatma Gandhi, I was going there all the time and saying, please, can you help me get accommodation? And when I used to go there, from the age of 17, and then I think they said when you're 18, come back, yeah? So I'll tell you my first story in another video. But ultimately, yeah, when you go to the council, I've felt like I've been telling the truth for years. But when you go in there, you do feel like you're lying. Even though you're telling the truth, you feel like you're lying. Even when my girls tried to cry, yeah, I know I've tried to cry. Not even tried to cry. By the time you go into your real story, you will cry. But even though you're crying for real, you feel like she's probably thinking I'm lying. Everyone's in here crying. You get me? Like, everyone's got a story. But deep it, like, imagine trying to be on the housing list since you were 16, yeah? And then eventually you go to it's a long story. Very long story. So I have a lot of resentment for Brent Council because it's like not just Brent Council, but before we get to Brent Council, the housing association that I used to live with under my mother, I feel like it's a long story. But I've asked for help since a very young age. And if I go back into my emails and stuff and I could just read emails of me contacting Brent Council and Stonebridge Hillside, that's what they were called back in the day, Stonebridge Hillside. They're called, first it was Stonebridge Housing Association, and then later on they called themselves Hillsides. This is when they were reconstructing Stonebridge from the ghetto of the 80s and 70s into the nice homely looking things we have today in Stonebridge. So Daniela's issue is right on time because I did want to do a topic on this housing issue because
if
people
I
need to
wouldn't
speak
have my
up.
children,
Everyone has different stories.
This one, I was not
we're
sitting here
all
today.
just
I guarantee
scummy
100%.
mummies
I was sleeping
on
in my car.
benefits
I was
trying to,
sleeping in the street,
grab
but
a
I
free
was not there.
flat. But we just want to have somewhere that is affordable, that we can make our home.
I'm sorry, sir,
I
but
want
I'm
to
so tired
work.
now.
All right,
Like,
okay.
I've been a worker
I have a stroke. My daughter is not well.
As soon
I
as
will
got
round it
my
up.
I'm too tired. If you
national
can
insurance
help, you can
number,
help. Ask for it.
Right,
I
okay,
was
let me
working
just
in
finish off.
Trocadero.
This is